That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us.
And I laughed out loud. That is hilarious.
And that is one of the truest, most unembellished stories I've told in this podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking each other. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
And we really need to update last week's conversation because we got everybody excited about the Corvette and the part didn't come in. And so we did not get the master cylinder on the Corvette last week.
Did you get any advice, though?
On the Corvette?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Did you not? No one
Well, I hadn't checked the email. Have you checked the email?
I've checked the email. No one said.
No one's given me.
But I did get a text on the super secret text hotline from my brother-in-law, and in big cap letters, he said, "Buy the Corvette."
So it is interesting. I did get one piece of feedback on LinkedIn. Someone who's new to the podcast said, "Buy the Corvette."
So tonight we have a very special guest. Michael Neve is here with us. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here.
What was your thought about the Corvette?
Yeah, I was in the camp of buy it.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, well, first of all, I was thinking about the speed round that y'all do with guests sometimes.
So get ready.
Talk about the dream car. And I'd already, my answer to what is your dream car was going to be a Corvette.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I see. So we need to go ahead and get the Corvette for you.
Yeah. And so in my mind, when I was listening to last week's episode, it was, what is that price point that has got y'all so excited? Because if y'all are excited and you already have a project car, maybe, and my mind started racing. Have you thought about the tax implications?
Right.
Have you thought about resale value and what you guys could do to fix it up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not handy myself, but it's very intriguing to always think about a little bit of sweat equity and how far that can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just you buy it at a discount if you can get a good deal. Like,
you're only helping our cause here.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he said buy the car.
Not only that, but I think you could crowdfund it.
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
And you could offer like depending on how much each listener puts forward, they could reserve it for like certain number of weekends.
Oh, nice.
So it's like you almost co-own it. Like you literally group own it, kind of like.
We should think about like a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Something for Corvette.
So, Michael, we go to church with you, and I remember seeing you in the hallway once, and I was saying, "Hey, how's it going?" And you said, "Yeah, we're just talking." And you said, "Yeah, I feel like I know you guys because I listened to you, and you listen to our stories and our personality." So, tell us a little bit why you're here, and tell us about what's your connection to the podcast.
Because you skew a little younger than our typical listener.
That's right.
So we have like 3 or 4 guys that are about your age. So
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. We take it as a compliment.
We take it as a compliment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't actually remember what prompted me to finally just look you guys up and listen.
We really didn't hassle you about it too much.
Yeah, no, you guys don't hassle.
We do hassle some people.
Some people, but other than that, people are aware of it.
Yeah.
And then actually what it was a road trip. I was driving by myself from North Carolina to Vermont.
Okay. All right.
And I just needed content.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. And so that's when I started listening to you guys. And I listened to the very first episodes that aren't even up there anymore.
Right.
Like before, while you guys are still really figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, at least, do you listen on Apple Podcasts?
Now I do. Yeah.
So for some reason on Apple Podcasts, they only have our last 100 episodes.
Yeah. You have to go to Podbean to go all the way back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
which we need to figure that out, Cecil.
I think we do.
At this point, I'm fairly confident that I've listened to every single episode.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. That puts you in a very small...
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
There is a shirt for that.
Shirt, badges, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've listened to all episodes during a really long road trip. And so you have come here and you've got some things to share, like in person about some of the episodes. But also, I think you have your own story that on the one hand, makes sense for someone like you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So, I mean, my background is I'm from Durham.
Mhm.
I've been in Winston-Salem about 10 years, and I went to Appalachia State. I'm a CPA and an accountant by trade,
Mhm.
and currently director of finance at a marketing and advertising company. But my passion is food and delicious things. And so recently I've kind of started this little side hustle, this hobby of
Which Cecil and I are all for the side hustle.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
the ones that make the money.
Well,
We aren't on that one. We don't have that.
We don't
yet,
have
do we?
that side
Yeah,
hustle.
right. But anyway,
TBD on whether mine ever makes it to that category.
which we're
but
drinking one of the ingredients to your ice cream, right?
That's true. Yeah. So I started making ice cream, and I've got a little business making ice cream and selling it. And I made a test batch. It was coffee, bourbon, chocolate. With the 3 flavors in this
That
one
sounds
little batch I made.
outstanding.
And so we're drinking the leftovers of the bourbon.
Man,
Yeah.
Which guarantees you can come back anytime.
anytime.
Started off right.
You started off right as a guest. All right, but that we're going to talk about later in the episode. So you're here to take issue with a few of our episodes.
Take us down memory lane.
or to add to some of
Take us down memory lane on some of these
Commentary,
things.
commentary.
I mean, he's gone back in the archives here.
So I guess I'll start by saying that let's go back to a more recent episode. There was the episode about telemarketers.
Yeah, that's right.
Not that many episodes ago.
So that one was episode number 144, The Last Four. By the way, just a quick update on that.
I'm curious. That was my
So
question.
the quick update that is I did pass the letter through my attorney.
Okay.
And they looked at it and they said, it's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. I love it. Send it as is.
Okay.
So it is ready to go.
Have you gotten a target yet?
Have I gotten the what?
A target yet?
A target.
Somebody to send it to?
Oh, well, yeah, it was that debt collector.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So you
saying-
have the address, actual contact
I've
information.
got the name, I got the address, I got it all. And a little twist to that,
Mhm.
they actually filed a collection report against all 3 credit bureaus in my name.
Ooh,
So now I'm hot.
Okay.
Because now they're messing with my
Yeah.
credit
right,
for no reason.
right.
They got no reason to mess with them because Spectrum did not ask them to collect that debt.
That should up the ante for you then.
Well, I'm definitely going to go for full damages.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we are in that. But
Yeah.
anyway, you were saying.
Well, all I'm going to say was I had heard that story about the guy who started the bar. Well, but the way you told it
Yes.
was that he purchased a restaurant with his money.
Right.
And the way I had heard it, and maybe they're 2 different people, the same story was that he opened a bar
Yes.
in downtown Winston, called the wrong number.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so when you were talking about how you heard the story, I said, that doesn't sound right. I think it's actually this bar.
No, you're right. I fact checked myself.
Okay.
He did start this bar, but he still also has that restaurant.
Does he? Okay.
He still has that restaurant also.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was the bar that he
Yeah.
started.
And I thought the name was, not necessarily creative, but
It was perfect.
perfect.
Though.
Yeah.
Well, now that you hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And I'm just also very curious. Something about that doesn't sound right, that you can actually get enough money from that process of going after these
Yeah.
guys that it can actually work. Like that's one of those things that feels like it shouldn't work,
yeah.
but it apparently did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the picture of the check. That's the picture from
Yeah.
the news article of all these checks.
It's just
$200,000.
okay. And then so the follow up to that is since I listened to that episode, I feel like immediately I started getting way more telemarketer calls.
We all did.
Really? Did you guys too?
Yeah.
We all did.
I have no idea. Like, I would maybe get once a week, I'd get a call
Yeah.
from and it would say potential spam and didn't answer it.
Right.
It's like 10 times a day now.
Yeah.
Different numbers, all the.
It's the same kind of thing, when you talk about something with somebody, the phone is listening and all of a sudden your ads
Yeah.
in one of your feeds to
Right.
social media is targeted right at those things.
Which is totally makes sense for you guys because you were actually talking about it audibly. I was listening to it
The phone
and shared it with nobody.
The phone is listening to what you're listening to.
Oh my God.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it is. It is, but
It don't sound right.
it doesn't sound right. And it just doesn't sound like the telemarketers would be connected to the phone in that way. you
Yeah.
know? Like,
It's hard. Yeah. I'm shaking my head in disbelief.
So I got one, and I couldn't get the address. So I had everything ready. I've got my letter, but I couldn't get the address.
Got to get the address.
Yeah. So next time I'm ready. I'm primed to get the address. So.
And it takes some work.
Yeah.
It takes some work.
Yeah.
Well, here's the takeaway. If this works for you, if your letter works, you've set a template now that you can share with us who are now getting pestered with calls. Because we can blame you for the calls that I'm getting.
That's right.
But we can share in the profits.
On the super secret text hotline, one listener texted me asking me for the letter.
Yeah.
I sent it to him.
Okay.
After I got it approved by the attorney, I sent it to him. I'll send it to you. Okay. So you're ready to go.
I'm going to wait and see if it works for you.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. And mine's a little bit different because I've got a debt collector and the telemarketing laws that they're violating. They're violating 2 acts that I can get them on.
Okay.
But the real money is the telemarketing act.
I've discovered you don't want to cross Peter in any situation.
Well, that's all I had for the telemarketing.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for pointing.
I'm really interested. I want you to go to you've got a story about jury duty.
I do. Yes. So I was listening to your episode. It was, I think I pulled up the episode number here, 52, a long time ago.
Oh, that's going, wow.
That's pretty way back.
That's our 1-year anniversary.
Oh, would be
right.
Oh, that's right.
Because we've been producing one episode every week.
What was the name of that episode?
Don't Judge Us.
Right.
Of course. Yeah. It's when we're celebrating. And this is where we recorded live at the Winston-Salem Public House.
Oh, that's right. It was.
We might need to think about doing that when we hit 3 years. It's coming up. It's coming up.
So my story I
think more people would show up.
Right. We might have 3 or
5
4.
or 6.
Yeah.
Well, I could bring a younger demographic.
Right.
Maybe that's what you need.
That's what it is. So
they stay up later.
That's right. Yeah. No, we were done by like 8 o'clock and gone. My story was that I got kicked off the jury for smiling too much.
Yes. And I laused out loud. That is hilarious.
And that is one of the truest, most unembellished stories I've told in this podcast. That story I didn't is straight as it happened.
Well, so I can relate to that in a few ways because I also had a jury duty experience where I was not necessarily wanting or desiring to get on the jury, but also was perfectly happy to see how the process worked, learn about it, and potentially do some civil service, some civil duty, right? And so I was summoned, and at the time I was working at a public accounting firm, and so it was always busy. You never had time to go to jury duty. And I remember talking to some of my coworkers, and they would say, "Oh, well, this is how you get out. This is what you have to say." And I remember thinking to myself, that's not the way you're supposed to approach jury duty.
Right.
Whether you want to or not, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. And so I was like, no, I'm going to just play it straight and we'll see what happens. And odds are I won't get selected and it'll be just a day.
You're going to play it straight like Cecil tried to play it straight.
I was playing it straight.
You were not playing it straight.
Huh?
You were not playing it straight.
No, that was being me, though.
Well, that wasn't straight enough.
Well, they didn't want you, Cecil. They didn't want a smiling juror.
No.
So we got there and we found out that there was a jury being selected for a murder trial. And so at the very least, that meant it was going to be a long process.
Yeah.
And so jury selection went for 3 days. And so I went one day, came back the next day, came back the next day. And third day, I get called to that room. You wait, and then you get on the stand. And I think I was 11 or 12. So like towards the end.
Right.
And they're asking questions. And of course, people are making excuses and all this stuff. And no one was smiling, but people were getting kicked off left and right. And so I get up there and, give my answers to the questions. And next thing we know, I'm on a jury.
Do you remember what they asked you?
It was a lot about like police officers. Like, do you have any reason why you'd be biased for or against police officers, so family members or whatever? And then I think it was like violent crime. Like, have you ever been a victim or experienced violent crime or whatever? So just anything that would kind of bias you one way or the other.
Yeah.
When they were asking you the questions, do you remember this? When they were asking you the questions, did you immediately respond or did you pause, think about it, and then give your answer?
I'm usually pretty deliberate, so I would have taken a second and thought about it and put together my answer.
Because I would think if someone just speaks up real quick and says, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Be
problem.
a red flag.
I think that would be a red flag to that person
Yeah.
who's not thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I was on the jury and I was like, all right, now I'm on a murder trial jury, not just any jury.
Yeah.
And so it was a very interesting experience and it lasted for 5 weeks.
Good grief.
It was expected to last for 8. So
Okay.
it went a little fast.
But you were on it. You
I was
stayed
on it the
Yeah.
whole time.
Huh?
Not only that, I was the foreman.
Oh, Cecil.
You lived my dream.
Yeah, I know. And so the whole time I'm over here listening to Cecil, I'm just like, you can't smile. You just can't smile.
Oh man, I smiled the whole time. Now that I've started doing some reels on Instagram for the podcast, I understand why I got picked off. I mean,
Why is that?
because I've seen myself,
Yeah, what is
and I'm just like, I would have kicked myself off the jury. The last
you just got
the last video I did
Just
for the
grin on your
podcast,
face.
the last reel I did for the podcast, I was like, man, I understand completely what happened now. I was
So
looking at
are
that.
you going to start recording yourself in a way that, are you going to start practicing so you can get up?
No, I mean, it's the only face I got.
Nah, you can change your face.
No, I think this is the only face I got, man. This is it. It's just not a jury face. But you must have been very trustworthy looking.
Well, I think I can be. Yeah, I think I can play that part. I think I
Right.
can do that.
It was obviously hard for me to do that.
Now, yeah, and then I think you add to that my profession, CPA. You know, like it's generally one of the more probably trusted professions from people. And so, like when you're looking at potential person you want to choose, it's like I think I checked a lot of the boxes up front.
Well, pharmacist, which is what I am, used to be the number one trusted profession. It's no longer the most, but it used to be for 20 years running. It was
That's fair.
The number one trusted.
the number one trust. No, just in
okay.
general.
Just in general.
In general. Okay.
Yeah. But yet,
Did you point out that you were a pharmacist?
Yeah, they knew I was a
Like
pharmacist
at the
because it was a
end of
drug
every
case.
sentence, did you say, and by the way, I'm
It was
a
a
pharmacist?
drug case.
It's a drug case.
That's why they kicked you off.
No. I'd already told them all that. Like they were fine.
Yeah.
I had said everything. I said my brother's, law enforcement. I'm a pharmacist. All this kind of stuff. None of that fazed them. I mean, it's just what the judge said. The judge was like, "Do you find something funny about the proceedings of my court?" And I was like, "No, sir. I'm taking this very seriously." So you had to be elected foreman, right?
That's right.
So everybody in the room must have trusted you.
Did you have to?
It was a nomination process.
Did you have to campaign or
Not really. Basically, you go back there and they basically say, between the 12 of you, pick a foreman and someone that's going to speak on your behalf.
Yeah.
And there was really 2 people that was pretty clear, had an ounce of somewhat leadership capability. Me, and then there was a principal at a middle school, a local middle school or something. And so I can't remember how much time we spent together, but it became clear some people were going to take a more active role in this. And then so they're like, all right, well, let's start with nominations. And so we were nominated. And then honestly, I think she was like, if you want to do it, you can do it. And I was like, I'll do it just because I feel like I can.
Yeah.
So people had to make a pretty quick judgment on you.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Trust
remember
you.
when
Man,
that happened.
that's very impressive.
It definitely was towards the beginning, but it's a long process. That's the thing. Court hours are very slow.
Yeah.
You don't get started before 9:30. You take a 2-hour lunch break and you're sometimes gone by 3:30. And that's because a lot of times before the trial, after the trial, the lawyers and the judges are talking and doing stuff. But as far as what the jury needs, it's pretty lax.
So people had to make snap judgments of me and you. I got kicked off and you became foreman.
Man.
I think that says,
man, that's
I need to reevaluate that.
hey, well, just practice in the video, man.
I'm telling you, after watching myself in the video, I would kick myself off a jury. 100%. That's a good story.
You can practice.
I don't know.
But no, it was a really cool experience because you got to see it firsthand how the system works and just being involved in it and feel like and also feeling like you had the ability to kind of help make the process work properly.
Yeah.
Because not everyone that's most qualified to be on a jury actually ends up on the jury.
Right.
If you can imagine, most of the people that you would hope to be on a jury are
figuring out ways to get off.
Because they've got other things they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyways.
I really wanted to be. And after seeing Charles Kuralt, did you have to watch the Charles Kuralt video about being a juror?
I watched something. I don't know if it was.
So Charles Kuralt North Carolina native, did a video when I did it that talks about the civic duty of being a juror. And I was really primed after that video.
You're ready to go.
I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I was really wanting to do it.
Clearly, you had this smile on your face. You were so
I
excited.
wanted to do my civic duty.
Yeah.
You would say anything, but you couldn't hold back the smile.
I couldn't smile. I mean, that's, yeah.
It's interesting.
Interesting.
Well, your number's going to come up. When was the last time your number came?
I'm X'd off the list permanently.
No.
I have not had another jury
Have you not? I get them
I used to get them all the time, and now
really?
I've been.
What do you think it is?
My smile. They smiling Jack back on this.
That don't sound right. Have you been called for jury duty?
No, but once you do serve on a jury, there's a certain period of time that you're totally off the list.
Yeah.
They put you on after I think 2 or 5 years or something like that. But you definitely have done, you're not going to get it for another period of time. But I don't think I've gotten one since then. But that was 2015.
Oh, that's a long time.
So it's getting up on 10 years. I should probably get one soon.
You should be getting a summons.
Yeah. But I will say, I mean, at that time I was 24, 25.
Wow.
And that was my 3rd or 4th time being summoned. So I feel like I got it real fast early. And then I think I'm due for a break.
Right. So you deserve a break.
And you haven't been summoned in a while.
Not since that. That was my last summons.
Man,
I think you can do it, Cecil. I think a little bit of practice.
I think so.
Next time you get your notice, your summons,
let's coach him up.
Let's
coach him up.
I mean, who better?
Exactly. I mean, you got a foreman for a murder case.
Yeah. No, if I ever want to realize this bucket list,
we're going to coach you up.
Yeah.
We know the coach.
Like I'm saying,
I haven't asked for my
you
fee.
know, I wonder, is that a thing?
What? Getting kicked off for smiling?
No.
I can tell you it is.
I know what that is. No, is there a thing to be a coach to get you on the jury? Because everybody's trying to get plenty of people can coach you how to get off the jury, but is there on the jury coaching?
Well, the ironic thing about is people complain about the system of justice, but then they try to get out of jury duty, and there's your opportunity to help. Is by participating on a jury. I mean, this is not like a public service announcement. I'm just saying, it seems to me, if you want to improve the system, they're asking you to
get on there and do your thing.
And so I was there, man. I was ready to do my job.
Yeah.
We'll have to look that up, I think.
Okay.
Get on the jury coaching.
Yeah.
You've been such an engaging guest that we've actually gone to our normal time. So still want to finish up another episode, and I want to talk to you about the ice cream. So it don't sound right, but you've come to the end of this episode of That Don't Sound Right.
Well, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us that rating, leave us that review so others can easily find us and join the conversation. Who knows? Maybe you're going to help someone on a long road trip and give them all the content they need, because I think we might be up to 36 hours of content. So if you need to drive, seriously, from coast to coast, it's about a 36-hour drive, we got you covered.
Getting very old. I'm sorry, but you got to mix it up. You got to say some content.
Well, you got to come home.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Don't do it one way.
And you may be asking yourself, why have we not done the speed round? But we will do that next episode.
Let's do that next week. Yeah.
All right. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. Michael's wondering why I don't have this memorized yet, but I mess it up if I don't read it. I'm your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is your other host and your web designer. Camille is your barista. Emily does your graphic design. Ella does your Instagram. Please go to the Instagram site and follow us. We're starting to try to do at least one reel per week now.
We got one coming up, right?
We got one coming up.
All right.
Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott.
So until next week, keep talking
and stay curious.